Hi there, welcome to Terraland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Aquarius energy. And like usual, we're going to do 2 rows. We're going to use the Kipper deck and see what's going on. Like normal, we're going to do 2 rows. The top row I refer to as High Vibe Aquarius energy. The bottom row, a more worldly, shadowy Aquarius energy. We all have our dualistic nature. And just like all the other signs in our Aquarius energy, we can align with our more high vibe Aquarius energy or our more worldly, shadowy Aquarius energy. And, you know, our shadowy nature to one degree could just be staying in our comfort zone, because we all kind of like to stay in our comfort zone, and to move forward a little differently, you know, we'd have to face some of our fears and insecurities about doing that. Plus, we might have jobs, friendships, relationships, vices, habits that we kind of have to become independent of to live our life a little differently. The top row can represent how we might like to move forward in life a little differently, but we would have to work through some of these issues in our fears. So some people could be battling within themselves, but some people have chosen to move forward. They've already worked through some of these issues. They're moving forward a little differently. Some other people maybe decided they're okay, going to keep living their life the way they've been living it. And some people don't have any inner conflict at all. They're happy living their life the way they live it. And, you know, that's how it goes in life, you know. We're all at kind of different stages of being okay with our life, not being okay with our life. If eventually we're living our life in a way that we start to feel like, wait a minute, either I feel like I'm not moving forward, more out of my fears or something like that, or things seem to be getting out of balance where things don't seem just and fair or something, you know, that's when we might start to wonder about doing life a little differently. So that's kind of interesting. The reason for the bottom row's reading is the courthouse card, which is kind of making that decision. And the reason for the top row's reading is the unexpected income, but I view it kind of as the 6 of Pentacles. And that's Taurus energy. And in our Taurus energy, it's kind of like the Supreme Court in our own head. We have a certain way of living life and viewing life, and it kind of, you know, because of that, kind of dictates the decisions that we make in our life and how we live our life, how we think, how we feel. And we'd have to call judgment on like an old way of living life or viewing life or those habits or those vices. And we'd have to be willing to, because in a world of duality where we have free will, if we want this, we can't do that. If we want this, we can't do that. And so there's something that has to be sacrificed in free will. And the people who work through a phase of life they were in, again, or their fears or their insecurities or something, those people did make the decision, and some people are currently making the decision, and some people have decided, no, I'm going to keep doing this. But you have to be willing to, in high vibe, have hope and faith and belief in yourself and in your dreams. Maybe look at life from a higher perspective, put things in perspective, not get all caught up in your head. Aquarius is air sign energy of the mind. Have to be willing to hold yourself and other people accountable. You know, because if we're in a situation where, you know, usually we have other people in our life, whether it's our neighborhood, our friends, family, work, we have to hold other people accountable too, but we also have to be willing to hold ourselves accountable. And we'd have to quit kind of investing in one way of thinking, feeling, in order to invest in a different way, right? So let's go look at the bottom row. We have the lovers, the mature woman, the courtship, the bad health, and the occupation. So the way I read tarot, well, I probably would read it this way regardless, but This way you can apply it to everybody in your life. I kind of read the masculine figures can represent that it can be how we're presenting ourselves in the world, an action that we're taking. And anybody can present themselves in the world kind of any way they want. You know, people can present themselves as a more just, fair, balanced, stable person than they really are, right? So some people in their Aquarius energy are trying to, well, some people in shadow are maybe playing the poor pitiful me card. The feminine figures can talk about how we really think and feel. Some people right now, they could more love, the lover's card is Gemini of our dualistic nature. Some people are more emotionally invested, whether they're male or female, in aligning with their more worldly, shadowy nature, not willing to hold themselves accountable, and maybe not willing to grow up and mature themselves or love themselves. The courtship card, it's kind of, I view it as the Two of Cups and Cancer energy. If we did decide to love ourselves, we would emotionally nurture ourselves and we'd offer love to our ego nature, our fears and our insecurities and our past pain and heartbreak and our self-learning beliefs. To I view the occupation card as kind of like a Eight of Pentacles Virgo energy. We'd start putting in work and effort, and here's someone sewing, so it's kind of like to mend. You know, we have to offer our self-love to kind of heal and grow and mature ourselves, feel more stable and grounded within ourselves. Virgo energy can talk about putting in this work and effort, and it can talk about internal work emotionally. Why do I do what I do? Why don't I do what I don't do? Why do other people do what they do? You know, we don't really know why necessarily people do what they do, but we do know everybody's got free will, which is what the Lover's card talks about. Everybody has the free will to be more self-indulgent, prideful, immature, self-indulgent, lazy, full of themselves, you know, whatever shadowy things we could kind of think of, you know. Or people have the free will. You know, it's kind of like with the Two of Cups being in the middle, again, we have this dualistic nature. In our more worldly egoic nature, we could emotionally indulge our more egoic nature, or we could indulge our more emotional nature, which also in one degree could be shadowy, or we can get balanced within ourselves. And high vibe energy is about being balanced. I have learned to stand up for myself, love myself, get balance within myself. And the courthouse also can talk about justice and fairness, which is Libra energy, which is represented by the scales of justice. Am I willing, do I want to get balance within myself? And the truth is, some people don't. Some people don't want to do love. I get hurt doing love. Love might require me to be more just and fair, and some people don't want to be more just and fair. And some people have decided, you know, they want to get in relationships to feel more balanced. You know, we can look to a lot of different things in the world, and it could represent other things that people indulge themselves in. With this card here kind of being like the Nine of Pentacles, it can be or the Eight of Pentacles, it can be things that we invest our time, energy, and effort into, maybe when we don't feel so good. Well, we have the free will to make the decision, I'm going to go invest in this and this and this, all of those things to make me feel better. Drugs, food, alcohol, self-indulgence, sex, gambling, you know, there's all sorts of things. Some people get in relationships to feel better. Well, relationships can make us feel better. But should we get in a romantic relationship if it's not based on truth and love? Love is supposed to be based on love. It's supposed to be equal give and take in the Six of Pentacles. But some people can say, no, I'm just more about myself. I think if I get in a relationship, that'll help me feel better. And again, we can be friends with people, and that can help us feel better. But I guess some people think, no, I'm going to get in a romantic relationship to feel better. And so then they could get in a relationship to feel better. But the reason for the top rose reading is the Six of Pentacles. And we could realize that some people, the Six of Pentacles can talk about people are exchanging time, energy, and effort with us. But some people harness high vibe Taurus energy within themselves. And their truth is that they're motivated by love. And they want to exchange resources with people and time and energy from love, to get to know each other, and hopefully that people are acting with character and integrity, and that everybody is learning to love themselves and putting in some work and effort to heal from past pain and heartbreak and all those things, so that we can make that decision to move forward in high vibe Taurus energy of like truth and love. Acting with character and integrity. High vibe Taurus is kind of like walking the talk, being who you say you are. But some people, shadowy energy can be, I'm just going to try to create the illusion that's who I am. And then get in a relationship with people and maybe always play, I have fear about maybe making a decision to bring justice to the situation, to do more equal give and take. Up here we have the main female, the community card, and the mature man. Again, where we would work together with other people, us maintaining balance within ourselves, working together with other people who take responsibility for maintaining balance within themselves. The community card with the man and the woman and the child is that we're kind of, maintaining balance, that it's not more about me and my ego, and it's not me and my emotional nature, and it's not me and my immature nature. It's like being a good parent to yourself, because we all have our more hopeful, believing, loving nature, like inner child, and we have our more immature, self-indulgent inner child. And in high vibe, you kind of invest in loving yourself enough to love yourself, connecting with your emotions, have your worldly nature. But I kind of view this card as like the Three of Pentacles, and the Three of Pentacles is Capricorn. Shadowy Capricorn is the devil, which would be like indulging yourself. Emotionally, we've put in this work and effort, because Capricorn is Earth sign energy, just like Virgo, where you put in this work and effort emotionally to maintain balance within yourself, to be a mature person in the world. Less manipulated by your more immature nature, because you made the free will decision out of love for yourself, to love yourself, put in this work and effort to heal and grow and mature yourself, and hold yourself accountable for your actions, to maintain balance within yourself, to act with character and integrity, so you can be in relationships with other people and act that way. But again, shadowy people just have the idea, I'll just act like I'm that type of person. Maybe I think I'm so smart, but the thing is, pride comes before the fall, right? And if some people really are more motivated to be about themselves, the shadowy row can represent our ego nature, which can be our defensive nature, that they get in relationships with people, and they could even like to get in relationships with other people who are looking for someone to be loving and nurturing to them, hoping that if they put in work and effort with that person, that person will keep moving forward with them in a relationship, but never require them to get more balanced within themselves, to be more just and fair. And some people want to be in a relationship with people who, maybe don't love and believe in themselves, or kind of tipped out of balance, because they could like more codependent relationships. I like it when people love me, and I like it when people view me as a loving, nurturing person. That makes me feel like people view me as a loving, nurturing person, and I like to view myself as a loving, nurturing person. But if they get in relationships with people who, just got their fears, their insecurities, their past pain and heartbreak, their self-limiting beliefs, they can be kind of like loving and nurturing people, but if those people kind of free themselves, because Virgo again is about kind of healing and growing and maturing yourself, if those people kind of do this work within themselves to free themselves from things that manipulate them, and they want to move up here in this type of relationship, that's when the more shadowy people can call judgment on the relationship. Oh, no, you got to go. I got to go find someone else. And then they repeat that pattern with someone else. And that's why, if any of you have been in a relationship, whether it's a friendship or romantic, you can get in a job, a friendship, or relationship, and you could feel like, oh my gosh, I found my people. These people are loving and encouraging and supportive. And if you're a high vibe and you're loving and encouraging and supportive, oh my gosh, I found someone that kind of has the same philosophy of life as me. And, we have a lot in common. And, it could be that we feel like they seem more mature and stable and grounded and all that than some of the other people we've been in relationships with. And so we move forward in a relationship. And while we're in that relationship, we could all heal and grow and mature ourselves in some ways. And we could stay in a certain job, friendship, or relationship for quite a long, we go through many cycles, right? But eventually, we might have to get down to the core foundational truth. And that is kind of the final thing to work through, Because when we're in relationships, I could be more immature. I could have whatever traits and characteristics. The other person I'm in a relationship, we all got our unique shit going on, right? As human beings. And we can be loving and encouraging to each other. And we could be, unbeknownst to us, it could have been beneficial for all of us, if it's a group or two people, to come in contact with each other, because we could have kind of been the right people to help each other through a time period in our life, because in some ways we kind of could have been on the same page in how we thought and felt, in our philosophies of life, wanting to work together with other people, but we can go through kind of like we could be friends with someone when we were 15, 18, 21, 25, whatever, or we could date someone, we could marry someone, and we're with them for however long, 1, 5, 10, 20 years, right? And we can work through a lot of things. And the relationship, in some of them, can go quite well in a lot of ways. My phone seems kind of dark. Kind of makes me wonder what my battery life is at. Oh, what is that at? Ooh. Okay, I don't have the battery life to finish this, but I like it. So if I can cut and paste it, I will cut and paste it. But sometimes we get down to a core foundational truth of what we think is just and fair, and more what drives and motivates us. And we could find out some people are kind of more about being in a relationship for these more worldly reasons, and the other people could want to be in a relationship more being in it authentically, more from love. And we realize that kind of our truth is different. And the people that are more about the world or the ego or the image and how it benefits them could want to stay in it, but the other people could realize that the other people kind of do maybe like to live more from their mind than their heart. And we really can't have a more deep, balanced, mature relationship. Let's see if I can finish it. The coffin in reverse. Shadowy, high vibe people aren't going to stay in a more emotionally shallow, superficial relationship is what Scorpio can be. Or if it's kind of intimidating or controlling. And so you let go of the more superficial people or more, if you view them as more manipulative or codependent or want to be indulged, to go exchange resources with people who are more on the same page as you. And the people who are do like to live more from their mind than their heart, or be indulged or play the victim, will probably go repeat that pattern with someone else. So there you go, Aquarius. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.